Hey guys, did you know that animal shelter workers are 5 times more likely to develop PTSD than the general public? Now, this topic really hits home for me because it's something that I have personally struggled with. So, it's National PTSD Awareness Month, and it's time to break this conversation wide open with some myths and some facts about PTSD in animal welfare. Myth number one: PTSD only happens to soldiers and first responders, not animal advocates. Fact: witnessing things like animal abuse, euthanasia, severe neglect, or even hoarding situations can trigger PTSD. Animal welfare professionals face repeated exposure to trauma that affects their mental health, including putting them at risk of PTSD. Myth number two: after years in animal welfare, you should just be used to it or desensitized because it's just part of the job. Well, the reality is that repeated exposure to animal trauma, it doesn't build immunity, it actually accumulates. Compassion fatigue and secondary trauma are real occupational hazards and definitely not personality flaws. Myth number three: the best way to cope with trauma is to stuff all those feelings down and just move on. Actually, suppressing trauma responses can strengthen PTSD symptoms like nightmares, intrusive thoughts, and hypervigilance. Processing the difficult experiences is what ultimately helps you heal and then stay effective in your work. Myth number four: if you develop PTSD symptoms, you are just too sensitive to work in animal welfare. Reality check: caring deeply about animals is literally why you do this work. So PTSD is not a sign that you're not cut out for the job or that you shouldn't be there. It's a sign that you need more tools and support so you can keep doing the work. Myth number five: what animal welfare workers experience is just burnout from long hours and low pay. Fact: while burnout is definitely real, PTSD is different. It involves symptoms like flashbacks, hypervigilance, and emotional numbing from specific traumatic events, whereas burnout is more about exhaustion from chronic stress. A lot of people experience both. All right, moving on to myth number six: talking about traumatic cases at work or in therapy just forces you to relive the trauma and can make it worse. Well, the truth is that avoiding conversations about trauma keeps it locked inside, keeps you stuck. Professional therapy helps you process what happened in a safe and non-judgmental way, which actually can reduce things like nightmares, flashbacks, and intrusive thoughts. Myth number seven: well, therapists just don't get it. They don't understand animal welfare work, so therapy's not going to help me. All right, I'm not going to lie. A lot of therapists do not get it. However, there are specific trauma-focused therapies such as EMDR, prolonged exposure therapy, or trauma-informed CBT that can really be effective. And finally, myth number eight: if you are struggling with PTSD, you just need to leave. You need to quit your job. Fact: with proper treatment, tools, support, and maybe even some workplace accommodations, a lot of people can manage and heal from PTSD while continuing in their career. Recovery does not mean having to leave the very thing that you love.